Hey everyone, it's Random Guy. You asked me for an AFK Vindy guide, so here it is. But like always, before I get into the guide, I'm doing another 50 mil giveaway. To enter this giveaway, just type your Runescape name followed by Vindy in the comments below. These giveaways are again only for my subscribers, so if you want to join, just click that subscribe button. I do giveaways every week for my followers, but if you want a shot at up to 7 more weekly and monthly giveaways, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. And at the end of this video, I will reveal the winner to my AFK Hellweir Magic Guide from last week. I also have one last announcement. I am having one of probably multiple spinal surgeries in about 2 weeks' time, and I might not be feeling up for being on RuneScape, much less making videos. So there might be a week or two where I will have no videos coming out while I'm recovering. Also, I want to say that I'm sorry for putting up videos at a slow pace. Like, I know other YouTubers, they normally put out multiple videos a week, and I haven't been able to do that because of my spine. I'm not really making much money IRL, so I've been extremely busy trying to scrape up money here and there for my 1-year-old son and my wife, who, by the way, makes RuneScape videos on this channel too. So say hi when you see her drop a video. She loves it when people say hi. Now that that's over, let's get into it. So I looked at other YouTube videos on how to AFK Vindy, like the new ones with the Crypt Bloom armor, and with copying their builds exactly, it just didn't work for me. The range hits were too much without praying against it, and prayer flicking is not AFK. I needed to eat like 1 to 3 sharks each fight. By the way, I should clarify, this is, or the one that I tested out, was a legacy mode guide. It didn't work for me and there wasn't really anything I could do. Now, I don't want to steer you guys wrong, so I didn't go legacy mode. And don't worry, I will be showing the Revo bar in this video, so you won't have to look too hard for it. Also, I'm doing something a little bit different in this video. I'm going to be showing you guys me testing out a bunch of different things and comparing them to see how they work. But, of course, I will still put up the full setup of the best working method that I tried. And actually, since most of you will be skipping through this video to get to that part and haven't heard a thing that I've said already, let me just make your life a tiny bit easier, and I'll just put that right now. So, let's get into it. So for this, what I'm using is Crypt Bloom armor, followed by a Tazar magic cape. I don't have an Amulet of Souls, but an Amulet of Souls is what you need here. So if you don't have an Essence of Finality, just use an Amulet of Souls. Next up is a Seismic Wand. I don't really have any less, so I haven't really gotten to test that. If you can use a lower tier one, then go right ahead with it. Another thing is a tier 80 to tier 90 lantern. A lantern is a mage version, or a magic version, of like the melee defender. And it allows you to do a lot of cool things, like it's a shield while also a weapon, so you don't need to shield switch. It gives you access to your defensive abilities. Also, it provides a 3% accuracy boost, and has a 1 in 15 chance to deflect a hit, reducing it by 50 to 100%, and providing a 20% accuracy bonus for the next attack. This thing is really nice to have. Next on the list is a Luck of the Dwarves, or just whatever ring you really want to bring. If you want to bring a DPS ring, like Asylum Surgeon's ring, or anything like that, go right ahead. And then we have a Scrimshaw of the Elements. I'll get into why you want this over a God book in the video when I'm showing you how I'm testing things. And then the last thing is a rune pouch with Death, Blood, and Soul runes. These runes, plus the runes that will be in your inventory, will give you access to the spells Animate Dead and Blood Barrage. These are what you want. Now let's get into the inventory. So for the inventory, I'm using 2 Holy Overloads. If you don't have Holy Overloads and you have regular Overloads, then just bring Overloads with Prayer Renewal Potions, and it'll do the exact same thing. Just when you use one, also use the other. Followed by a couple Prayer Potions or Restores, just to get your prayer back occasionally because we will be using Soul Split. Followed by an Ancient Elven Ritual Shard, an Enhanced Excalibur, a Spring Cleaner, an Adrenaline Urn, because I don't think Persistent Rage is worth any slot in the Archaeology Relics. Well, at least not when this exists. Don't get me wrong, the Persistent Rage relic is nice, but I think that with the existence of the Adrenaline Urn, there are other beneficial relics that you could be putting there instead. And then lastly, a rune pouch with fire and earth runes, like I said, to get access to Animate Dead and Blood Barrage. Oh, and before I forget, with the AFK Revolution bar down below, you do not need Greater Concentrated Blast. Regular will do. I just have it, so it's on there. As I said, you're going to be watching me try out some things, and that includes abilities in different places on my bars. Now, I will say that you don't want to change the places of the first 4 abilities. The reason why is because when you get to Vindy's dragon coming down, Reflect and Debilitate should always, or sorry, not always, most of the time, I'm going to say like 90% of the fights that you will do, these abilities will be going off right before or just a little bit before his range attack, reducing it by a lot. And Reflect is first because it's not a complete DPS loss. You're reflecting like half of the damage back at him, so it's very nice. From what I've seen, it will always match up to be his range attack unless he moves you for too long in like the little wonky animation where he gets on his dragon and you start moving away from your spot because he suddenly takes up more squares. If he walks you a little bit more than normal, then the cooldowns of these and the activation of these 2 abilities will be slightly off, but it won't really matter because the next kill they will be. From what I recall, I didn't have 2 kills in a row where it didn't line up with a range attack, and even if it did, it doesn't really matter too much. All these do is keep you at full HP or very close to it. I did try this with the Inquisitor's Staff first, as it is the best in slot weapon for magic here, but it didn't really work for me. I mean, it was slightly AFK, but these 2 defensive abilities just tipped it over into the AFK category. It just made this more reliable. It made me feel like I could leave my computer, go make a sandwich, and talk to my wife and play with my kid, and then come back and still be alive. Because that's like 99% of my RuneScape time is AFK. I'm just playing with my family and doing stuff while I'm AFK. That's why I love the legendary pet, which I'll get on about. Now, not all of the perks that I have on my armor go for this guide. So the ones that you don't need to get for this, I put in red. Like Ruthless 1 and Enhanced Devoted 4. They don't really help you here. They don't make any difference whatsoever. So, with that in mind, on my wand, I have Precise 6, and on my lantern, I have Equilibrium 4. And then on my body, I have Relentless 5, Crackling 4, and Biting 3. And on my legs, I have Absorbative 4. If you can't get any of these, then just get as close to them as possible. Like, for example, if you can get Precise 5 and not Precise 6, then go for it. It's fine. Now, for my Archaeology Relics, I'm using Death Ward and Berserker's Fury combo as always. You'll probably always see me have those. The reason why is because they work really well together. Death Ward decreases the amount of damage you take the lower your HP gets, and Berserker's Fury increases the damage you deal the lower your HP gets. So they work hand in hand. Now, normally I run the Fury of the Small because it's a DPS boost because you're getting your adrenaline for thresholds and ultimates faster. But that, yes, it does work here, but at the same time, that extra adrenaline will ruin the whole rotation, making it so those 2 defensive abilities, Reflect and Debilitate, they will not go off before the range hit. But they will be ending by the time that range hit comes, because you've gotten it off earlier in the fight every time. So I've replaced that with Luck of the Dwarves, and I use like the Asylum Surgeon's Ring or a Chandler's Ring. That's just what I do. But like I always say, I want you to change my guide to whatever suits you best. Consider my guides as the flat Lego mat that you will put your Legos on and build on top of. I'm just the foundation. You build onto this however you think you can make it better and whatever works for you. Like if you don't want to as AFK with a legendary pet, then go and use a DPS familiar instead. And speaking of that, now we're on the topic of your follower that you'll be bringing, which is, no surprise, the legendary pet. This is to pick up all your drops so you can actually go AFK and not worry about missing a drop. When I say AFK, normally I mean that you can leave your keyboard and go to the other side of the house and come back. Like, you don't want to get a lance while you're in the kitchen making a sandwich. You just don't. By the way, if you've noticed, I love sandwiches. I'm always making them. So, you don't want to miss a drop while you're AFK, if you're as AFK as I am. If you're not leaving your computer and you're just staring at it while you're also staring at Netflix out of your right eye, then go with a DPS familiar and just click the space bar when the loot tab is open every time. That's completely up to you. Contrary to what a lot of RuneScapers say, well, at least the ones that I have to deal with, you are not wrong if you don't play like them. You can play however you want to play. It is just a game. So, organize this and customize it to whatever suits you. So as I said, I was testing out different bars, and in this one, I was lazy about it, and I was just like, what if I just took off the defensives? And so I just took off the 2 defensives and replaced it with Tsunami, because I don't think, for AFK at least, I don't think Sunshine would be too much help here, because you're always running around to go chase after him when he's on his dragon. So you will have to be running out of your Sunshine. So that'll be, like, useless. And then I just didn't replace the other slot. But as I was seeing, and as you'll see, it does get a little bit shaky. And I was like, no, not really worth it. And just went back to the defensives. When I saw my HP get to 50% and then a little bit lower, I was like, nah, it's not worth not having the defensives on there, because if I can get below 50%, then I can get down to 0. And I don't feel comfortable doing true AFK with that. So back to defensives it is. So make sure whenever you come in that you just pot up with your overload, turn on your scrimshaw, and then activate your animate dead. And every single 6 minutes, renew your overload and click on your Ancient Elven Ritual Shard, and that'll get your prayer points back up. Now, since we're using Soul Split and not a protection prayer, it won't get your prayer points all the way back up. That's why we have a couple prayer potions. Now, one thing that'll really surprise you, or probably surprise you, now, I didn't stay on it because even with the defensives, my HP did dip a little bit, but it is possible. I did AFK a couple fights with the Demon Horn necklace, meaning that at the end of every fight, the Dragon Bones gave me, I think it was 150 prayer, and I think the Dragon Bones from the couple kills that you do per overload sip, plus the effects of the prayer renewal from your Holy Overload and from the Ancient Elven Ritual Shard, could possibly keep you at full prayer, making this just as AFK as another one of my guides that uses protection prayers. But I did see my HP dip just a little bit, and I was like, it's a little bit too much for my liking, so I went back to the Amulet of Souls. Now, you will be able to see why I said put on the Scrimshaw of Elements instead of this God Book, because as you'll see, towards the end of the fight, he moves so much, well, the dragon does, every single time he flies away, he has a chance of leaving the beam that comes down on him, making it deal no damage, and it was a worthless book proc. So it's not really worth it here. Meanwhile, Scrimshaw of Elements doesn't hit in one stagnant area on the map. So it will always be doing damage. There's no DPS loss there. Now I guess you're gonna see a little bit of my bank. I mean, don't be too excited. I barely keep anything on this account because I keep all of my wealth spread across many accounts because I've been hacked too many times and I'm just not leaving all my wealth on one account. So get prepared to see a lackluster bank, I guess. About like 99% of my wealth on this account is in untradables. And there you go. Just what I was talking about. Here's my couple kills with the Demon Horn necklace just so you can see for yourself. Now you're probably gonna laugh at me. I made sure that it was burying the bones because I'm a complete noob, and I totally forgot that I was in a group with someone with loot share on. And if you're in a group with loot share on, none of your items like Bone Crusher or your Advanced Gold Accumulator, none of them will work. So I was sitting there wondering, why wasn't the bone buried? I always have these things ticked. So, yeah, I had a derp moment. You know, you guys will probably want me to speed this up a tad, huh? Yeah, okay. Let me just speed this up a little bit. So yeah, as you can see, with the Demon Horn necklace, it's still going pretty well. Until the very end of the fight, when I realized that yes, it does work, but at the same time, it is not entirely dependable. Once again, if you can get to half HP, then you can get to no HP. Also, just a side thing, just keep looking at my chat box. You'll see how much damage this lantern can take off of you. It's really nice. Now let's try it with some Ganodermic. Let's just see how that works out. Now, my Ganodermic does have similar perks on it, so it won't be too different. The only thing that my Ganodermic has that my Crypt Bloom doesn't is that it has the Lucky perk on there, which also has a chance to act like the Defender, but better, and just take any damage and reduce it to 1. So, that's nice. Sadly, though, as you'll be able to see, the Ganodermic doesn't stand up. It doesn't do well enough for me to be able to make a guide on it. Sadly, it is just subpar for this. I really wish it wasn't so because I like putting in affordable things for people like Ganodermic instead of Crypt Bloom because not everybody has Crypt Bloom. I mean, it is still pretty expensive, so that sucks. But at the same time, if you're wanting to use this but not be completely AFK, then you could make it work. You could make it work. It just won't be AFK. You'll need to eat here maybe once a fight. Who knows? From what I've heard, not many people AFK as hard as I do, so you probably won't mind putting in a couple things here and there. And then I thought maybe I could be slick a little bit and just put on 3 Crypt Bloom pieces while keeping on 2 pieces of Ganodermic. So you guys would only have to buy 3 pieces and leave the 2 most expensive pieces out of it. But sadly, even that didn't work. But I wouldn't forgive myself if I left this out, and I didn't think about it really until after I recorded, which is weird because normally I have this on my mind. But it probably would have worked if I used Shadow Barrage instead of Blood Barrage. Shadow Barrage lowers or reduces the damage that Vindy will deal to you by 5% for 10 seconds every time it procs. And on top of that, it is an earth spell. And if you read what it says in the Crypt Bloom armor when you hover over it, it says these bonuses are doubled if your primary spell is earth type. So using Shadow Barrage will double the damage reducing perks of this gear. That plus Soul Split could tide you through. I will try this at some point and then put in the comments whether it works or not. Also, last thing, I forgot to record it so it's off screen, but the Blood Amulet, well, the Arcane Blood Amulet did work here too. It just wasn't as good as an Essence of Finality. And that's really all there is to show you. So, yeah, there you go. I really hope this helps you out and helps you get the GP that you need to do the things you want. And I hope you're not like me, because lances just don't exist. I mean, a lot of drops don't exist for me. I'm pretty much known for having complete crap RNG. I'm about 5 Blurberry specials so far. One of them doubled. Yeah. Really good RNG. So, yeah. So now that that's over, let's get into last week's winner of the 50 mil giveaway for the AFK Hellweir Magic Guide. And the winner is 9-year-old. Congratulations on winning, man. I hope this GP helps you out a lot. I will get in touch with you in the usual ways. Well, thank you for watching, everybody, and don't forget to like the video if you liked it, and maybe give me a subscribe if you don't want to miss any of my future videos. And maybe watch one of these.